Hi, my name is Hitendra Patel. I represent the Global Innovation Management Institute. We are honored to be part of the Global Council for Innovation Organizations because we are very excited about the opportunity of spreading innovation globally through certifications and standards. This council that we have put together will allow us to share best practices, exchange ideas between universities, between governments, between companies, between different geographies. It is the exchange of these ideas and this ecosystem that we are building that will help us close the gap and democratize innovation everywhere and improve the quality of life of every human on this planet.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I would like to, at this moment, to introduce you to the Global Council for Innovative Organizations. As you know, every month, basically, we have a webinar. The Global Council for Innovative Organizations, for those who have not been here and following us, is a network of organizations that drives innovation leadership in cities and organizations around the world. It is co-founded by the Dubai Government Excellence Program and Global Innovation Management Institute. We have other members. We have today Vince from Ayala. We have members from Colombia. We have Australian Innovation Management Institute from Australia. We have Open Innovation Lab from Norway, basically, and other folks. We have Professor Piquet from La Salle and other folks who are joining, basically, this mission that we have. Mission of this organization is to share and exchange innovation best practices around the development and implementation of innovation models. And this is exactly what we will hear today also from Paul. I'm happy to introduce the speaker for today, who is Paul Hobcraft. So Paul basically is the founder of Paul for Innovating. He will talk today about the new business design that has innovation as foundation, connecting up the enterprises in a business ecosystem, which is resilient, sustaining, and adapting. Basically, Paul is a seasoned advisor, thought leader in the realm of innovation and innovation ecosystems, basically. He has been doing this for a long time. He believes that ecosystems have emerged as a powerful force for driving innovation, fostering collaboration, and unlocking new opportunities. He has managed organizations, divisional P&Ls based in Saudi Arabia, Kenya, UK, Netherlands, Switzerland. As you see, he has experience in many, working in many continents, basically. He has lived in Asia for 14 years, and then he has been traveling extensively for business building, has been building startups, turnarounds, operational and organizational redesign. So he knows that from different perspectives and different sectors, and his role primarily today is advising, mentoring, and coaching as a transition to business ecosystems and innovation advocate. But I would like to invite right now Paul. Okay, here you are. So Paul, can you tell us a little bit more also about your background, your education, and how did you basically start with innovation? So what was the first interaction with innovation in your life?
I did a master's degree in Singapore, and within that master's degree, in the final year, was innovation as a subject, and I got totally hooked on it. And that was in the year 2000, and since then it consumed me. And since about the year 2000, I have been doing really nothing but innovation. Hello?
Yes, we hear you, Paul.
Okay, so I've been doing nothing but innovation since then. I stayed for the first 14 years in Singapore, and I worked with the Singapore government as one of the people. I worked with a number of other major companies in Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. Never got one in Indonesia, so maybe there's a chance later on. Then moved back to Switzerland, where I have a dual passport, British and Swiss, and have been working from here on innovation. That has eventually now moved into the world of ecosystems.
Great, thank you, Paul. And maybe disregard my question if that's part of the presentation, but my question is, why do you believe so strongly on innovation ecosystems, and how did you start working on innovation ecosystems?
Innovation ecosystems, I started working on about 6-7 years ago. They really attracted me. I just think we have to get out of where we are. And the first couple of slides that I'm going to be presenting are challenging where we are and then recognizing where we should be going. And it is through this more open, collaborative, creative environment where you are, you know, working alongside 5, 10 companies, dependent. Each is some level of equality within that, because I believe that's a far better way of accelerating innovation and getting better value out of it.
Great. Thank you very much, Paul. We are happy to hear now. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Let me introduce. Firstly, greetings from Switzerland. What I'm going to do today is present the interconnected business ecosystem framework. It is nice to be with you and to be able to share this. I trust you will find it useful, insightful, and future applicable to your area, to your thinking and to your organization. To build on innovation within an ecosystem thinking and design approach. A framework like this, which is novel and evolving, needs explaining. The slides here will tell the story, as this defines the parts within it. I hope it provides the grounding to the questioning and also discussion session that follows from this within about 25 minutes. This presentation must be brief because of the limited time, but I do believe it should give you a good, sound initial understanding. So where am I today within this journey? I'm currently working my aims and my research far more at the building blocks and components to resolve the what and how. What you're going to be listening to today is more the why, its framing approach, in its structure, in its design, and in its thinking. So let's move on.
Paul, can you put your presentation maybe full screen? We don't see it full screen yet.
Thank you. I will do that. There we go. Thank you. So the agenda today, there's 3 key primary points. There is why ecosystem thinking, the frame outline, interconnected layers, and then what I plan to do is do some reflection. I have a big ask of the community, a moving forward, and then moving towards our Q time together. Let me start. I began my innovation journey in 2000, living and working in Singapore. I began to write about innovation in August 2010, and here I am 800 posts later, and I'm not too sure I'm any the wiser. 2010, 2022, I walked the innovation talk. I don't know if you know Australia, but have you ever been on a walkabout? That's the indigenous rite of passage in practice. I took a new innovation walkabout in late 2022 to January 2023. My questions persist, though, on innovation and why I think we struggle today. Let me pose these questions as the starting point. Are we really shifting innovation today? Has software helped us, or does it restrict us? Are we standing still in any innovation evolution? Will corporations or enterprises ever really embrace innovation? Is innovation the core? Some yes, some no, many no. Do we seem to be facing those constant, what I call innovation groundhog days, those ever repeating mantras that satisfy who? Are corporations or enterprises really constantly seeking fresh growth, or is this just corporate speak? How many people are full-time employed in innovation teams or units compared to other BU functions? What has changed over the last 10, 25 years that we have failed to fully capitalize on? So I believe there is a different innovation narrative to make a case for a real change, what I would call the interconnected one. I'm moving these around because they keep blocking my screen a little bit here. Can we visualize a different innovation enterprise framework? Do we need to? We have an urgent need to connect enterprises up. Innovation requires a meaningful change in systems, structures, and architecture. Can we harness the power of dynamic ecosystems? Do ecosystems in thinking and design come of age now in realization? We need to think of interconnected business ecosystems and why. Markets are changing, complexity is growing, and the challenges are more formidable today than we've had them in the past. I don't believe our current innovation structures tackle those as well as they should do. A new business design that has innovation as its as its foundation for impact and creativity, connecting the enterprise into collaborative forces of knowledge and diversity of experiences in a business ecosystem design, which can constantly adapt. Erica, can I just interrupt? How can I get the list of people either up the top or across, because it's kind of across the actual presentation itself?
It depends how you want to do the view, basically. You can do it side by side, or I believe that's helpful.
Meaning, what does that mean? Sorry.
On the top right-hand corner, there's a view. If you click on the view on the top right-hand corner, you can change the view.
Gallery to speaker.
You can do side-by-side speaker. There's one option, standard side-by-side speaker. Yeah.
Super. Thank you. You helped me.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. You asked about innovation ecosystems and why they're important. Why are they important today? They foster collaboration and knowledge exchange. No different than innovation, but they're doing it in a different way. They're fostering it in an ecosystem environment where people are more assigned and more on a common vision. They nurture each entrepreneurship and startup growth because they attract people into that ecosystem. They accelerate market adoption and commercialization. Again, standard innovation does that, but to accelerate it, you need a number of other parties with you, the wisdom of the crowd. They promote knowledge transfer and technology diffusion. Through ecosystems, I do believe you attract a much higher talent and diversity alongside your workforce. They drive regional and economic development because you're more connected. You can choose to be more connected within a region, or you can accelerate globalization, international collaboration. Most importantly, they can address, I think, far better social challenges and improve the quality of life. So why I believe in the increasing importance of business ecosystems are the following. We have rapid technology advancement taking place. There is a growing global interconnectedness that we have to tap into. We have to accelerate the pace of change because change is accelerating. We have to increase and deal with complexity. We have to get to far more customer centricity, and we have to have a far better resource optimization ability than we've had in the past. By the way, at the bottom of each of the slides, you'll see reference published. Those are links to actual articles I've written on each individual subject. So those you can actually refer to at a later date, but they follow through on each of the slides going forward. So let me introduce the interconnected business ecosystem framework. Originally, I called it the hierarchy of business ecosystem needs. I changed it because people have a bit of a negative on hierarchy. And I've now moved it to the interconnected business ecosystem. It's connected for interconnected layers: the innovation ecosystems, the business ecosystems, dynamic ecosystems, and the ecosystem of enterprises. The primary goal of this is to navigate your business complexity through collaborative ecosystems, emphasizing openness, adaptability, and shared vision. Each layer contributes to the orchestration of innovation, business synergy, dynamic resilience, collaborative prosperity, with the overarching aim of achieving sustained excellence and collective prosperity. As a frame, you can see here, it's a stack. The innovation ecosystem is the creative foundation. The economic need of this is to continuously have streams of innovation, creativity, and ideation. That feeds up the stack. Business ecosystem is the growth pillar. That drives economic and sustainable growth and competitive advantage. The third layer, for me, the most exciting layer, is the dynamic ecosystems layer. That thrives in a rapidly changing business environment, constantly adapting. Fourthly, at the apex, is sustaining ecosystems and enterprises. My initial design considerations were quickly interconnected layers and dynamics, transformation thinking, strategic integration, its management and evaluation, collaborative engagement, shared challenges and complexity, a makeup of dynamic components, cohesive and integration, network thinking, and linear to dynamic. So everything in research and everything I've been doing has been driven to that initial design consideration. Going now into the 4 layers. I can only touch very briefly with the time we've got. So I'm going to do a definition and I'm going to do a component consideration for each of the 4. So the innovation ecosystem serves as the foundation, the layer. It focuses on collaborative innovation and dynamic creativity. It shares challenges, opportunity spotting, and new solution design built and implemented, laying the groundwork for continuous innovation and ideation in development and implementation on a sustaining basis. I considered these as the following component considerations, which I have been building up. It's the foundation element. It's got to be open environment. It has to continually look for continuous flow of ideas. It is collaborative. It is strategic in its integration, and orchestrating innovation is important to it. The business ecosystem, the second layer, emphasizes and shifts to strategic cooperation, interconnected solutions, and collaborative growth strategies. The need here is to drive economic expansion, achieve market leadership, and resilience that collectively shapes the business environment and strategy needs. The emphasis on the interdependence of the entities, the people that are in the ecosystem, and their impact on the industrial health and competitiveness in open environments of exchange. Its component considerations: strategic harmony, building significant businesses, orchestrating excellence, strategic cooperation and collaboration, interconnected solutions, market leadership, and new growth areas. Again, that drives my research, that drives my ability to explain how the business ecosystem works. The third one is the dynamic ecosystem. Dynamic ecosystem addresses adaptability, resilience, and continuous learning and evolution. Its objective is fostering a culture of dynamic resilience, and enabling the ecosystem to navigate disruptions. Proactively, it seizes opportunities, all within the context of dynamic adaptability and capability building. This is the environment for knowledge building, gaining, and offering alternative perspective. It's the environment to challenge things differently and manage those proactive risks. Its components are interconnected solutions, cooperative strategies, dynamic resilience, adaptability and learning, navigating disruptions. What it builds is the core for navigating change. It builds the collective prosperity, orchestrates facilitation for success, prompts and challenges change, works on enabling the interconnected dynamics. The fourth layer, the apex layer, is the one where the framework focuses on strategic integration, a cohesive and unified vision that enables integrated technology application. It's providing a co-evolution effect, working towards collective prosperity, integrated leadership, and a community of trust. It's an iterative process and continuous feedback loop driving the empowerment of the ecosystems to fully function, constantly seeking to reduce resistance. It implants that dynamism ecosystem needs to sustain excellence and economic returns through collaborative power and interconnectedness. Again, its key component considerations have been so far collective prosperity, strategic integration, interconnected dynamics, total transformation considerations, integrative leadership, governance and orchestrating focus, cybersecurity measures, technology enablement, productivity driven. So today we have a choice, in my opinion. Ecosystems are critical. Establishing the interconnected business ecosystem is, in my view, not merely a strategic choice, it's a paradigm shift towards interconnected, adaptive, and prosperous futures. You can manage these layers within a single organization to learn them, to build them out, or you can build them across the collaborative ecosystem, which is what it's designed for. This framework becomes a guiding force for excellence, innovation, responsive collective leadership. It represents the evolution from the current traditional thinking to a dynamic ecosystem-centric approach, one that is essential for navigating the complexities of the modern business landscape. Let's also look a little bit here at some warnings. Any change moving to ecosystems needs careful consideration. It needs to be taken slowly. Preparation of who orchestrates that system, who designs it, is it open, is it closed, how do you define what those are? Start small, we learn, adjust, and constantly evaluate. We use spearheads. We need to recognize its governance, alignment on vision and missions, and the power of the network effects that are central. The connecting forces are the ability for interdependence, feedback loops, and interconnected understanding through technology application and shared platforms that builds the dynamics within the system. The key metrics, the opening key metrics, the overriding key metrics, I'm working through a balanced scorecard approach. Strategic alignment, operational efficiency, innovation and growth, strategic engagement, resource optimization, governance effectiveness, adaptability, resilience, value creation, sustainability metrics, and network health. Each will have key metrics behind them. So, why am I here today? Why am I here to share this? It offers, I think, valuable insights to the community to think about, to sound the initial framing, logic, and purpose. But like any framework, it has areas for improvement and further development. It is missing a more robust framing. That's improving on a daily basis. It's providing validation in critical areas that need engagement and involvement. It needs strengthening in different ways. The end goal is for a robust and actionable ecosystem. My big ask here is, can we, within your membership, ground this framework even more? I have limited resource. I work with Gen AI partners quite significantly. Is this where Jimmy can come in and help me and build this, validate this through your membership? So I won't work through this slide to just say it encapsulates 4 ecosystems. I look at the bottom statement here, which says it's deploying a design that recognizes the layers of innovation ecosystem that feeds business ecosystem. And these provide the dynamic ecosystem to adjust and respond. And when these are combined, this allows the enterprise ecosystem to unlock untapped potential, driving sustained growth and achieving collective prosperity that thrives on its interdependence and interconnectedness. It's the upward spiral of business ecosystems. And my challenge is, are you ready to grow your business and to enterprise differently? I'm going to go through 2 very quick slides, and then it will be finished. Currently, I'm working on quantitative metrics and measurement, pulling this together. I'm building out further dynamic adaptation and excellence. I've written about these so you can read about them. Ecosystem governance and risks. These are what I regard as gaps completed. Ecosystem interdependence and feedback loops. Operationalize and scale perspectives in phasing design. Industry-specific consideration and stakeholder perspectives. Case studies and real-world examples. Again, more to come, building those. What I'm watching out for all the time is these critical points: interconnectedness, collaborative, multi-platform, orchestrating externalities, network effects, government challenges, innovation. So, my final slide. I need to put in place ecosystem government oversight, ecosystem roles. I need to work those out far more specifically for who is actually participating in the ecosystem. I'm clear on that, but I've got to actually define those roles. I'd like to build an ecosystem academy. Again, through Jimmy, might be an extremely good way of building this out. Ecosystem performance management, to tailor that balanced scorecard into a success set of matrix. 5 things to operationalize it. 1, build a digital ecosystem platform, a core backbone. Also provide an analytics engine, more AI. Build out a partnership factory, identify, onboarding, and managing the people who are going to draw in to this ecosystem. An innovation foundry, both physical and virtual, and build out native applications. So I'm working through this in a pragmatic, phased approach for building out an interconnected ecosystem. So let's turn to question times. I will stop sharing and bring myself back into the group.
Thank you, Paul. That was fantastic. Let's take a minute for a minute with our sponsors. So we got a video and then we'll come back to the Q&A. So if you're ready to play the video, let's play the video and then we'll come to Q&A. Thank you.
Hello, can I have a question?
I think the video is coming first.
المجلس العالمي للمؤسسات المبتكرة مجلس فريد من نوعه يمثل مؤسسات عالمية من مختلف قارات العالم. هذه المؤسسات مختصة بالابتكار وبدعم الابتكار وبتعزيز ثقافة الابتكار في المؤسسات وفي الجهات الموجودة في مختلف هذه الدول. المجلس بيكون له دور كبير في دعم تبادل ونقل المعرفة ونقل الابتكارات الموجودة في مختلف قارات العالم ومختلف المؤسسات الموجودة على مستوى العالم ودعمها وتأثيرها ونقلها للمؤسسات الموجودة سواء في دبي وفي دولة الإمارات أو على مستوى الدول المشاركة في هذا المجلس. برنامج دبي للتميز الحكومي يعتبر أحد الأعضاء المؤسسين لهذا المجلس، والبرنامج كان له دور وباع كبير في دعم الابتكار والمبتكرين على مدى 20 سنة الماضية من خلال المبادرات اللي يقدمها، من خلال الفئات الموجودة في جائزة برنامج دبي للتميز الحكومي. البرنامج له دور كبير في هذه المبادرة وسيدعم الابتكار والمبتكرين وثقافة الابتكار على المستوى المحلي وعلى المستوى العالمي، وسيساهم في نشر كل الإنجازات وكل الابتكارات الموجودة على مستوى دبي للعالم بأسره.
Thank you. That was the sponsors of this event that we do monthly. So we do that to make sure you're aware who's making this event happen. Paul, it's been a long time since we met face to face in 2004 in Singapore.
Absolutely.
And back then in Singapore, what we saw was the emergence of an amazing ecosystem that the Singapore government had started putting in place. Whether it was an ecosystem in terms of the EDB, which is start focusing on clusters to kind of coordinate the network of all the players together and saying this is where we're going to focus the country on, or whether it was the IE, the import-export organizations, or the startup communities all interconnected together. And where would you say Singapore is on your 4 levels? And I'm going to go through the 4 levels of frameworks that you suggested. Where is Singapore on that scorecard of innovation network or dynamic or enterprise as a country? And we'll start with that question first because we both know Singapore so well.
Look, like you, I presented to the ECB on ecosystems and how they connect. The problem was in those days, we didn't have the technology. And much as they loved the concepts, and they said, can we buy it? And they know where they wanted to go. But until technology got into place, it was always going to be a problem. Since that, they've grown and they've connected up the island in very significant ways. They're still, in many ways, inwardly grown as against where they could gain, again, an outwardly grown perspective. I think they're good at business layer. They're good at the innovation layer. I would argue there are certain things one could say you're missing on that. You're missing that from a people development point of view, a skill development aspect. You can argue that they're missing the dynamic ecosystem. That's the one they could really do a lot of good in. In other words, bring out the challenges, bring out the risks, bring out the environment that people are going to feel encouraged to come forward with ideas with less fear, with less concern. And I think the pulling together at the top, the apex, is it orchestrates, but it orchestrates selectively, and that's not the wrong word, selectively for what government wishes to achieve. I think they've missed opportunity by not having some of their larger businesses at the apex, and then recognizing that government could go underneath that and actually support that ecosystem growth. So they've missed out, I think, on building some really big companies because they've not recognized that they actually aren't at the top of the apex. They're somewhere down in the middle alongside other people. So that's my view.
Well, love that. Love the topic. Just for everybody to know, Singapore's done a nice job of connecting every style of player across the system, whether it's startups, whether it's government, academia, and everything else. But in there, I think the point Paul makes is who should be in the center of that sometimes, or the orchestrator that can kind of drive this thing forward. And if the government gets in the way, then doesn't give space for somebody else to move. So how do you, it's in the governance somewhere where you liberate everybody's opportunities. Let's go further, Paul. You and I here are also very interested in building an ecosystem, innovation ecosystem or type of things around this green hydrogen, the new energy platforms that we are all getting very excited about, which is non-existent to a large extent today. There are people and players who want to interconnect and become part of that ecosystem, but there isn't anybody really pulling them together on a regular basis, a clear North Star to follow on, a governance in place, and all that. So now in a nascent ecosystem, which is all about what's next and what else, not about what's current, where would you put that in your framework, and where would be the starting points of that?
As you know, I love green hydrogen for a starting point. That's one of my focus areas. When we've got so much confusion in the hydrogen market, you've got to say there has to be some form of orchestrator, strong orchestrator. Now, is that going to be orchestrated on a regional base initially? You could argue the Europeans are trying to orchestrate, but the way they always orchestrate is they deliver rules and regulations. They don't deliver what an orchestrator truly should do, which is conduct the whole orchestrator or orchestration. It really needs a greater conducting of that, pulling things together, sharing things. We don't have standards in technology. We don't have explanations of solutions that are being built. So if one looks at this ecosystem proposal, this framework, one has to say, do we look, because this is a big bite, do we look at saying this should be 3 or 4 apex governments or regional groups that will become the central driving force, and underneath that, the dynamic ecosystem is the challenger, is the one that's going to challenge the enterprise, challenge the businesses, and say, I love what you're saying. You're producing hundreds of documents that we all absorb every day, but we've got to now pull this together in a way that's going to benefit us as a region in a structured, systematic way. So the dynamic ecosystem is the challenger. It's the one that's evaluating risk. It's feeding that up to the, let's say, the regional hydrogen, and those flow it back down to the businesses for them to be doing challenges, and underneath them, the innovation layers get what they're looking for, which is the nature of what solutions they need to work on.
Perfect. Paul, all these things are a lot of insights in here, and we could double click for hours on any one of those. So I'm going to kind of jump a little bit just to make sure we cover the audience needs a little bit. Let's go to a company or a big corporation, and we've got friends like Ayala here. Vince is on the call with us from Ayala, or any other company. A company is designed on one side to be efficient, and it builds organization structures and silos to deliberately be efficient, but the very structure it builds slowly stops the collaboration inside the company, but even more so to be able to go outside the company. An ecosystem says we need to open up interactions from people on the outside, on the inside. And one of the challenges is organizations have rules of who can talk to who outside or inside. And similarly, people are scared to do something without permission. So in this new world, this disruption and paradigm shift that you talk about, how are we going to open up permissions for people to have more transparency or more porous organizations so that they can go in and out without getting in trouble, but at the same time being able to have good dialogue, idea exchange, and other things, and protecting intellectual property? Companies want open innovation, but they're incredibly restrictive at the end of the day when they try and do something. They like open innovation, and they're even labeling that as suppliers now because they can manage them and control them. But in your world, the world that you're looking at is a free flow of really good exchanges of trust and everything else. And how do you make that happen when on the other side, there's a force which says, be careful, we got to protect our IP, we got to protect our thinking, our strategy, whatever, so we don't leak that out. Your turn.
My turn, without a doubt, without it. But I have been working in Siemens for 4 years as one of the influencers. That enabled me to be inside the company, but I was an outside inner. And quickly with Siemens, they build everything from a platform. They took the platform as their central point because they're coming from industrial provider of solutions. So they're saying we want to bring everybody onto a platform because that's the platform where they can buy their solutions. That's the platform where we can design their technology, applications, etc. What they've struggled on is the ecosystem part. And that ecosystem part has been a struggle until the very day that the CEO stepped up absolutely 101,000% and said, we are a technology company, we're not an industrial company, and we are going to run Accelerator, which is their platform, and we're going to make this our ecosystem that everybody can come in and participate, not just taking our solutions, but designing their own solutions and operating them onto the marketplace that we will provide. Now, the issues they've got, it's already nearly 3 years, and they've got 20, 25 different industries they could focus on. They're focusing on 5 or 6 at this moment of time, maybe a few more. They're recognizing that the code of every piece of equipment that's out there in the world has got different coding quality. So they've said, we have said, you cannot come in without having strict layers. So they've either had to rewrite code or they've had to put a cloud on top to draw in the old code. So on the cloud, it becomes easier and also not risky to what they're trying to do. I was reading another one today, Bulla in Switzerland. How amazed they are on, they've been working on ecosystems for 6 years in different types of collaborations. They've got great networks, collaborative networks. They've resolved trust a lot better than I think Siemens have. And I think orchestration, trust, good technology, a clear platform, all have got to be really worked through when you make this type of change. It's a 1, 2, 3 year plus type of movement. But what you gain out of it, I think, Hitendra, is you gain the ability to be open, to actually access diversity, to gain new knowledge, to build out better resources, to have more people on this, and more importantly, the leadership itself is so committed to it because it realizes its future.
Double clicking
Hello?
still on this word called trust. Okay. You're right. What was different from 2004 to where we are in 2024 is we got digital connectivity. So all of us are connected. So we can make the ecosystem connected. That's possible. And then we can try and do matches between people, for sure. But the trouble is, unlike the matchmaking that happens in something like Tinder, where there are two partners who are looking to partner, usually when you're trying to do matchmaking in an ecosystem, you may want to partner with Paul Hobcraft. Paul Hobcraft may not want to because it's busy or he's got other interest or something else going on. Or said in a company status, one company might want to partner with another company, but that company may not be busy. They may have other initiatives going on, and that's not the priority. So there is a challenge over here that though we can connect people, how do we go and translate the partnering things that was done by human beings, which was a big effort whenever any partnerships were tried to put in place. It took 3 months to 6 months, sometimes to even put in place. How do we accelerate that pace of partnering between two organizations once we think there's a common match for working, collaborating or together? Trust.
I think trust is certainly up there. I think one goes back and looks at partner ecosystems, which I didn't even touch on here. And to say that if you go into somebody, you basically formulate for them a network, an environment. And you then do 2 or 3 hypotheses about where you think this network can advance their business. And I think that draws in the people you're looking to draw in. You're leveraging the people that aren't in your current system. And what you're doing is, bringing in an opportunity and ability to really work ecosystems in a given way.
Good, Paul. Again, a challenge for everybody to figure out how that trust can be done digitally through AI or whatever, but it's coming soon and it will be figured out. And so what Paul talks about will be executed in the next 5 or 10 years. People are working on it. It's just a matter of first embracing the works to follow through. We have Enrique. Enrique, please introduce yourself, country you're coming in from, and the question you have.
Yes, thank you, Hitendra. Hey, Paul, tremendous presentation. I really like it. Myself, I'm Enrique Mesone from Lima, Peru, in South America. Actually, I'm the current president of the Peruvian Association of Software, Technology, and Digital Economy. And as you know, APEC, Peru is the chair of the APEC this year. So we have introduced already an interactive business ecosystem. We call it APEC with the world. This started as an idea for Peru with the world as a way to accelerate, how we can, empower small and medium enterprises, to become more like a formal digital economy using technology, because the only way how we can really interconnect this is with platforms, as you know. The second was the idea how we can connect all these SMEs with the entire country, so they can really reach out. They are not only looking to a small area, but to the entire country. And the third is how we can really bring these SMEs to the global, so they can see the world as an opportunity. I've been, working on building ecosystems since 2004, when I was living in New York City. And I've been reading and doing research about the connected economy and digital economy. So we have already a solution that we have introduced to the APEC here in Peru, that, to be honest, more than a question is, I would like to discuss actually and learn from everything that you have mentioned, because there are a lot of things that we have in place in this ecosystem that we have introduced. And I would like to share more ideas with you in the way how we can empower this, because if this idea sticks, the APEC is going to take this ecosystem to the entire country. So basically something that I would love to discuss with you lately, but tremendous presentation. I love it.
And Enrique, I'm going to say done, good, looking forward to it. let's fix it up.
Excellent. Okay, we got another question from Safar. I'm going to spotlight him, and Safar, please introduce yourself and make sure that you are. I'm adding the spotlight. Go ahead, Safar. Tell us where you're from and the name.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much to give me this opportunity. First of all, thank Paul for this really nice, I can say, lecture for me and for my college as well. My name is Safar Al-Malki from Saudi Arabia. Currently, I'm acting as the executive manager for engineering consultant firm. We are now in a stage to propose a new platform for, to some government agency here in Saudi Arabia to be responsible for, to be sponsor for that new platform and enabler for us as a, as an engineering company. To apply a new technology related to the AR and VR. But we want to do it in one place for many reasons. One, for development, we want to put it and develop it in one place. That means everybody can get benefit of it. The business user and also the, business client and the user. And this is a big story. I have no time to explain what we are going to do, but I like the idea from the ball. To do it as ecosystem, because all the element of the ecosystem, I think, is needed for this project. My question for Paul. What is the step-by-step, because it's I think it is like agile project. We have to grow from the zero to whatever.
Yeah.
What is the right step to do that with the government and the other partners? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Safar.
My answer is, again, we can chat offline. And we can, you can fill me in a little bit more on what you're doing. I can also offer you. Now, I am operationalizing this in a way that you can get an understanding that this takes 4 to 6 weeks, this takes 6 to 8 weeks, this takes 10 to 24 weeks, or whatever else. It will outline underneath that, in that operation, each of the activities that need to be done. Because it is a project like the project you're working on. And one's got to take this in a very, very sort of sound, solid way. And what you've got to do is every time you go through one of these initial steps, you do an evaluation, you move it to the next step, you do an evaluation, etc., etc., etc. Because it is complex, but the end result is, I think, exciting. But there is complexity in it and there's cost in it. And you've got to basically have a really good understanding of what that may be, so I can lay out an opening to that. Like any good project person, you look at that and you say, that's going to cost me quite a lot of time. That's going to cost me quite a lot of resource. Have I got the time? Have I got the people? How are we going to do that? What's going to help me move it along? So yes, we can have that conversation. Yes, I think I can help to get you to a point of saying, is it ecosystems I want or not?
Yes, okay. Just I can just one more question.
Safar, we have 3 minutes to wrap up. So if you can just ask the question quickly, and then we'll move to the next section.
Okay. My idea in that we can all of us grow together. The government and the user, the business. We didn't like to make it big from the start. We want to have it in different steps. For example, quick win, because even the user, they have to grow with us. The technology, it will be grow with us. For my opinion, we didn't have to do 3 things in one time, and then we can start from, I mean, small idea and then develop it,
Yes, yes.
see the demand of the market, and then develop it.
Absolutely.
Guys, let me suggest this is a good
Offline.
discussion for Safar and Paul to have offline. Safar, directly to Paul and make this thing happen. Make it real. No longer words, actions, and
Love it.
implementation
Love
to
it.
do that. Okay. So, Safar, those are great questions. The point over here for the rest of the audience is there are people in the world who are asking how to build this ecosystem. It's critical, and some people are going to lead. Safar in Saudi Arabia is saying, we are starting the journey, and we're going to make that happen. It's real. Ecosystems are game changers in terms of how we are working. So, there were a couple of questions. I'm just going to pull them together. There's a challenge in terms of defining ecosystems and the outcome of the ecosystem. What is the outcome? And you showed 4 different types of layers. And are the outcomes, could the outcomes just be ideas? Could the outcomes just be new technologies? Could the outcomes just be new products or new businesses? And can we narrowly define ecosystems within outputs and still use the same framework? Or are they, do we need to put the word innovation ecosystem in front of this thing, because we talk about what's next and what else? So just a question of the definition.
Not sure I've got maybe your question as clear as I should be, but let me reply. Each of these has a different set of metrics. Each of these are, in my opinion, I've come from the same school as I think you have, which is its outputs are pretty important, and its speed of output, its scale of output, it's a number of different things. So the measures and the metrics you're looking for have got to actually link into those. So there's a commonality in some of the things we'd want to be using resources efficiently, obviously engagement, blah, 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 blah. But at the same time, there are specific metrics for each of the 4. But my hope and my belief is there a cascading set of metrics, because that's the other important thing you need here. Does that answer?
That's perfect. Paul, we're coming to the end of this webinar. Please stick around for those who can stick around. But I just wanted to first make sure that those who had plans to leave at 10 o'clock can leave. And I'm going to give you the last 30 seconds as a appeal or things. So things about what you want to say. I'm going to summarize what was heard for everybody today. Look, we are seeing an emergence of frameworks for managing ecosystems. This is kind of novel, and this is kind of cutting edge. When these things are emerging, there are many parts of this frameworks which are still exploratory. And we have to build and learn together to do that. And these frameworks are important because frameworks organizes you and me and everybody else inside the ecosystem. So the framework is the unifying organizing principle in what is being done. It takes time to build them. Paul is leading that charge in many, many ways, right? And we know the benefits when it works. We do know the benefits: better ideas, faster ideas, better products, better technologies, new businesses, new models, new collaboration. All that is the outcome. We know logically that makes sense. In between there, we got to make sure it's effective and efficient. And this is where the KPIs, the metrics, the processes, the governance are going to help you do that. So critical that you start thinking about it, everybody out there, number one. Critical about starting the journey. But what's even more important is in this thing, Paul has made an appeal to join him. So I'm going to give Paul the last minute to summarize this thing, and then we'll call the meeting to the end. But Paul and I will still stick around for a few more Q&A for those interested. Paul, you have the last minute.
Thank you. In my last minute, again, to remind you, as Hitendra has also said, I'm looking for people to help me. I'm looking for people to collaborate with. I'm looking for people to challenge and to improve where I am and what I've done. And I've done a significant amount of work so far. I believe I would encourage you to read the links that are in that presentation. I'd encourage you to read the 2 blog sites that I've been chucking out all of my information on a regular basis, which will answer quite a lot of questions. I'd encourage people to just reach out to me. and we will be able to find, I hope, some very, very good potential that could help accelerate your business and accelerate my ability to help you with your business.
Thank you, Paul. Great presentation, very illuminating and enlightening for all of us. This is a monthly webinar that we do with the Global Council for Innovative Organizations. And our objective is to share new and emerging frameworks on the topics of innovation and to be able to share them with you and bring communities together from around the world. Dubai Government Excellence Program, as well as the Global Innovation Management Institute, are the founders of the GCIO. And we have got other partners of this group, Ayala Group, LaSalle, Open Innovation Group in Norway, and partners from the government of the Mayor's Office of Bogota. Thank you very much.